Welcome to Voices of Reality. I'm Farron. This is
Elisa.
So today we'll be talking about Atlanta Housewives, episode 9 and it's season 14. So let's get right into it because it was a really good, episode. So the first scene was a podcast with Sheree's daughter and Sheree, and they had this woman, Fatum. I think that's how you pronounce her name. She's Nigerian. She's Sheree's friend. She was also the woman who had mentioned that Drew's husband was kind of a little bit in the DL. So the podcast was interesting for me. I was like cringing a little because Sheree said it's a podcast about her daughter talking about sex. So I was just kind of like, okay, maybe they're that close BFS, but I just felt it was weird because I would not talk about sex in front of my mother.
Me neither.
But it was nice. It's like showing that her daughter's doing something, which is a podcast.
Yeah.
And that's when this text came in from Tyrone. Well, not from Tyrone, but it was talk about Tyrone. Basically stating that he almost got arrested for shooting Atlanta Housewives with Sheree. And Sheree was like, oh, he's lying. I can't believe he's lying. So that's what that was about. So how do you feel about that? Because when I saw future episodes, he's on the show.
He is. That's what I'm saying. He's on the show. I'm sure he had to sign waivers or whatever he had to do in order to be on the show. They don't just put you on. You have to sign certain things. And he was so cautious. Like I said, if I was dating a felon and he tell me he can't come to New York because he can't go past 100 miles and I'm 95 miles, I got a problem. But it seems to be he was very cautious with staying within the mile limits, even being overly cautious, not going the 100 miles because it was 95 miles or whatever, which I wouldn't have accepted. So if he's that cautious, I can't believe that he almost got arrested for being on the show. Like, I don't believe that because he was too overly cautious about the mileage, about this, about I don't believe it. I think that was an excuse.
So I want to see the one in the future episodes. Where was he? Because he was with Sheree. Because he looked like at the end of this episode, they showed like upcoming episodes, and it's kind of like Sheree's surprise, like Tyrone. So I'm like, where is he? Did he go to Atlanta? Because he can't go to Atlanta. Did Sheree go to Philly again? Like, we'll figure out where he was when he saw Sheree. But he shot a scene with her. But previous to that, which is this episode, it seems like it's like he's stating, or social media stating, he almost got arrested shooting the show. So
yeah, I don't believe him. I just think he's throwing out an excuse. I don't even know if and who did he write this text to? Was it a real text?
It was like a text. It was something like social media, I guess, announcement.
Oh yeah, I just think he's throwing it. I just believe that he's not really hung up on. He's just not that into her, period. Like, I just think he's throwing out anything, not wanting to go the extra mile, literally, to go see her. She's coming to see him. He stood her up. He's not even trying to be on the show to promote his businesses, to get on the map. Like, I just believe that he's just not that into her. And maybe a lot of men find it hard to communicate that to women. Like, I'm just not that into you. Just say it. Like, let me know.
But you know what? Yes, I think he wasn't into Sheree. He probably used her for some companionship, writing letters when he was in jail, someone to call. But I have to say, though, I have to give him one credit, and that's the fact that he didn't use her more and basically come on the show and promote his business.
Exactly.
But if he was smart, that's what he should have done.
That's what I'm saying. That was dumb.
So I have to say he must have really not been into Sheree, because he could have really, milked this, like been on the show, gotten some, coverage. People would have known who he was, utilize and kind of promote his business, utilize this show. He didn't do that. So he must have really not been to Sheree, which lets me know he probably had another woman's, or maybe another.
And not only that, his business is date a felon. Like, if that's not he is like a walking billboard for his business, because Sheree is dating a felon. So tell me that wouldn't be like the ultimate Uber promotion, like for somebody that is like having a felon and he's dealing with like someone who's on national TV. Like, come on now. Like, he's just not that into her. He just threw away.
He's not into her at all. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
He could have used the show. So he probably has another woman or another man or a man. Somebody
never know.
that he's like, I don't really even want to deal with Sheree because I got somebody else on the side, or my main chick, and she was the side chick to put money on his books. But we'll get more into that relationship. But all I gotta say is he could have used a little bit more. So I had to give him that. He didn't. He could have.
I respect men like that keep it real and just not trying to. I think a lot of people, not just men, they mislead you into like, you know, believing something, avoiding, not communicating. Like, I respect him. He dropped her like she was hot.
Hot potato.
Yes. Bam.
So the next scene was Marlo and her nephews talking to them, and I got to see Marlo's sensitive side. I mean, as a mother, I mean, she's not a mother. I could relate. Like, she was wondering, am I doing the right thing? Am I gonna fail them? Or am I, you know, raising them correctly? Am I giving them too much? Am I making them spoiled? So she's questioning her parenting skills. But she's also saying how these kids are not behaving. After they spoke to her mother, she's thinking about putting them in therapy. And one of them said, oh, no, we don't need therapy. Every kid thinks they don't need therapy. Like, whatever. You put them in, they'll eventually have to just do it. So that was kind of like seeing a little bit more of Marlo and seeing her a little bit more in her relationship more in depth with her nephews. So I kind of was able to tap into that and kind of feel bad for her.
Boring to me.
But it's a storyline. I mean, Marlo's like,
I'm not into that. You into those kid story. You into those kid, you know, storylines. I'm not into that. I be wanting to fast forward, but I'm thinking like I might miss something. But no, it's boring to me. I wanted to know, like, was this leading up to like her kicking them out? Like, so it was nothing of interest to me.
But I think that kind of showed us why she kicked them out. That was leading up to the kick out. I think that's what it was. It was kind of like, oh, she was telling them, oh, you know, you said this to your teacher at school. You need to do this. Kind of like telling them what they were doing wrong and what they need to do to rectify what they were doing.
That didn't show me. That showed me regular kid stuff. Like, it didn't show anything like that was really defiant. Like, that showed me like, okay, she's dealing with regular stuff that we all did as a kid, that your kids do. We all did. Like, come on, what? Who hasn't gotten into trouble in school and little trivial things like that? He's not out there gangbanging and stuff. Like, to me, that was like, okay, regular kid stuff, fast forward.
True, but we'll get more in depth about Marlo. Could do it now. But with Marlo, it's different because she wasn't expecting to be a mother. That's why I think when I could sympathize with her to that extent. Not me. I wanted to have kids. I would plan to have kids. But with her, they were just dropped up on her. So like you're single or you're in a relationship, you don't have any kids. All of a sudden, something happens. You have 2 boys in your house.
Yeah.
Everything is totally different. You know, so I think with her, it's understandable why she's questioning, why she's battling, what she's doing as a Monty and everything else, because she wasn't prepared for this. It's not like when you're pregnant and you have the 9 months and you're preparing to be a parent.
Yeah.
You're thinking about how you're going to raise them. If you haven't made, you're discussing how you plan on raising these kids together. If you're single, how you plan on raising them by yourself. You have at least 9 months to try to at least plan. I don't think she had that. From what it seems like, her sister went to jail and they gave her those kids, or she took them. So I think right now she's trying to figure things out, and these kids are also going through a lot of issues with their mother. They never mentioned where their fathers were, so she's going through a lot. That's how I see it. Yeah. And then the next episode was Sanya and Kenya, when Sanya went to Moore Manor.
Yes.
And they were just chit-chatting. Sanya to me gave a lot of detail about her sex life, living with all those people in the house, about how her husband had to sneak around and have sex. And I'm like, a little TMI. We didn't need to know that. I think we kind of figured out if you have a house of how many people? 9. And it didn't look like it was that big of a house. I think she has, I don't know if she has a mansion. It doesn't look like it. So it's kind of like, okay, well, you kind of telling Kenya a lot that eventually she'll throw it in your face, maybe.
I don't think Kenya's like that. Listen, like I said, don't come for her. Don't come for me. And yes, I am, depending on what you say. If you're talking about, yeah, that's why your mama don't want you like Marlo, absolutely I'm digging in the crate to go get something out that you told me. Kenya is not wrong, okay? For when she go for people, they coming for her. She's not out there just initiating fights. So
yeah, okay. Well, let's not forget
Sanya just
last
need to
season,
watch her
Drew.
step.
She was going at Drew last season. Drew didn't do nothing to that woman.
Well, I think that was like the newbie initiation kind of thing. And I don't think it was like really
sorority. These women are too damn old to be initiating.
But I don't think it was like really it actually helped Drew. She got her look together. She was looking a mess. Like she had like a terrible wigs, her dressing. She did like, she looks really, really good now. Like as far as her fashion, her hair, the way she puts her clothes together. They like it immediately happened after Kenya started talking about her wigs and how it looked like a dog's whatever, a sheep or whatever she said.
I think it would have. I think that happens to all newbies. Majority of them.
Exactly. It's not just Kenya.
TV, you see yourself on TV. You see what people are writing on social media. Even if Kenya didn't do it, Drew would have changed her look because she saw herself looking like a muffin. Yes, she saw herself looking like a muffin.
Immediately, she went. I mean, immediately, like it was like literally the next week she was on Instagram with like Playboy bunny pictures.
After Kenya said that to her?
Yes, she was. It was like an immediate like degree, like 180-degree change. Like it was like,
I think social media would have gotten to her anyway. People were making comments about you.
No, Kenya got that ass together. Kenya got that together ASAP.
Maybe she had something to do it, but Kenya didn't have to say anything. I saw it for myself, like, ooh.
Yeah.
But this season, I mean, Sheree looks good, but her confessional attire is questionable too. Because there's one time she looking like with that all black outfit with the black hair, the black wig.
You know, the bun, I'm not feeling that either. Like,
I'm not feeling that.
She even made fun of it though on Instagram. Like she made fun of it herself.
Elvira, I think, right? I think that's what they were saying she looks like.
She was like, what I asked for. You know how Shade Room says like they'll put up a picture of going to the salon or whatever of what you asked for and what you got. Right. And she did that. She put up a picture of some celebrity and she was like, what I asked for and what I got. And it was the confessional look. That was like a mess. So I like her sense of humor.
Yeah. So the next scene was Sheree and Fatum. I think that's her name. I'm just gonna call her Fatum.
Yeah.
So they were discussing. I mean, it started out with, I think it was Sheree getting all emotional about Tyrone.
Again.
Yeah, but I think that time was the most she got. Like on camera, she was really emotional.
I thought it was a little scripted. I don't know. I wasn't feeling convinced from that scene. Like the whole, like, I don't know if it's because maybe she has Botox or something in her face. I don't know what it is, but when she started the crying, it was a little stiff. Her mouth looked like it was like stroking out or something.
Yeah, he robbed me emotionally. Like I put in so much.
I'm sorry. I don't.
I know. I feel so stupid. I'll give you everything.
I'm sorry.
No, hold on, yes. Asshole. I need to get it out because he's such an asshole. He don't deserve me.
Again, maybe she's using Tyrone as a storyline. I don't feel sorry for Sheree. Sheree was an idiot. I have to say that was stupid of her to be dating someone in jail. And not only was she dating someone in jail, she was holding out, like not having sex with nobody else.
I get that part. Like, listen, love is love. Like,
no, that's stupidity. There's love and stupidity.
No, sometimes if you you're convinced and you're a hopeless romantic or whatever. Yeah. Like no matter what the circumstances are, people do it all the time. Like besides felons, like they'll like deal with somebody that's like really, in different leagues from them. So
that's fine, but at least that person's present, you get some D from them. But she wasn't even holding out.
People, okay, let's say they're here and you say, and there's a lot of, how many people that's Christians that say we're not having sex and so we get married. There's a lot of women. Same thing. And people deal with it having hope.
I don't feel sorry for Sheree whatsoever. You dating a man who is in jail. You dating a man you can't date. I don't know if she saw him. You can't have sex. She was doing it for years.
That's not. I don't feel bad for her, and the only reason I don't feel bad for her, I get it. Like she's a hopeless. Like she really wanted love. She really thought that. I'm sure she's desperate for love. So
not that desperate. Can't be that desperate. That was.
I mean, if you have hope, listen. Hope is real. Like a lot of people have that hope in a lot of circumstances that may seem hopeless. She has hope. So I get that part. The part that I think she needs therapy about is to like, why are you still like hurt and devastated? Like, girl, I think like her self-esteem should have immediately snapped out of that. Like once somebody deads me, that's like, beneath me. Like my confidence level is like, how dare you doing that to this? So I just don't understand like why she's so hurt, even feeling like she might even still take him back. To me, I feel like if he rang her phone, she's taking him back. And to me, it's like, where is your high self-esteem? Like, why are you even so bent out of shape over this guy? That's not even like on your level.
Well,
like, girl, let's love.
Because she looks good, has a nice body, and has all this so-called money. You could tell she has a little self-esteem, and you got to think she comes
and that's
from
the problem.
Abusive marriage. So
and that's why I say she needs therapy.
She should be physically abused. She has to be physically abused and emotionally and mental. So she was abused for a long time in her marriage with that football player. And it took years for her to actually say and talk about the abuse.
Mm-hmm.
So she has a lot of other issues. She's probably dealing with mentally like self-esteem issues or whatever.
Exactly.
This guy came along and I guess sweet talked her, had a little bit of swag, and that was what took her over the edge to fall in love with this man. But my question is, which I don't even remember, did she meet Tyrone when he was in jail or before? Like they had a relationship and then he went to jail? I don't remember.
I think they talked about that, or either Kandi talked about that on her show, but she was basically saying that they met. Like I put in a clip the last time we spoke about Tyrone when he was just getting out, when he stood her up. You remember Nene, we used to talk about him. They had that conflict when she was like, I'm rich, bitch, or whatever she said.
Yes.
And Tyrone was already and he was in jail, but I think they met because that's what Sheree was arguing with Nene about. She was saying that Tyrone, they had went to Philly to do a show, a seminar or something. And I think Tyrone was maybe the organizer. I know it took place in Philly. And that's how the argument started with Sheree and Nene.
We were going to Philly. Mm-hmm. I got a phone call from Tyrone about this opportunity to make money. Mm-hmm. I reached out to you, asked you, were you available on those dates? And what your rate was. You said you were available. So I called Tyrone. And he said, okay, cool. Mm-hmm. Later on that day, I started getting phone calls saying that you've been calling Tyrone, saying I could have got Sheree for way cheaper and took the money off the top and da-da-da. Not him personally, you.
Nene.
Okay.
But Tyrone had to be out and about at that point. And it seemed like Sheree was already like kind of digging her claws into him at that point.
Also, it wasn't like someone she met while he was incarcerated.
No, he was out. They was doing business together. She was accusing Nene of possibly sleeping with him, allegedly. So I know he was already out and about. And then at that point, that's when it seemed like the scamming started. He was scamming people like that. I know that's when it came into play. And then she started dealing with him. And then that's when Nene said,
Sheree's taste in men is confusing, but if she has found love in a prison bae, I am all the way here for her.
Why were you so surprised about Sheree dating him?
I met him before she did.
What was he doing when you met him?
He's a con artist.
And I think that was before he went to jail and when everything snowballed and he ended up in federal prison.
Okay, so she met him before, not when he was in jail. It doesn't matter. Sheree, for this whole relationship thing, was an idiot. My opinion. Comment below if you agree or disagree, but she was stupid.
People, listen, like you're isolating that incident because he is a felon, but many women and men,
and way beneath her.
Yes, but maybe like it's not just felons that a lot of women and men kind of like stoop down. It's a lot of there's many relationships that people are in, and he may not be a felon or she may not be a felon, but they got a lot of shit with them where you're dealing with a lot. You know, I'm sure I've been in relationships like that where it's like you deal not with, you know, felons, but you deal with somebody who may, you know, seem like, you know, you think you can like rehabilitate them and, you know, fix their broken wings and stuff like that. So
when I say she's an idiot is the fact that she was waiting for this man. Like, even if she's like, oh, there might be a possibility me and Tyrone could be together, date other people, have sex with other people. Like, you're
girl,
really
they are so. They're so. You know how many times I'm in a group because I wanted to do it for the other podcast. It's called Prison Wives. I'm in a Facebook group. It's all women that are dealing with men in prison. And when I tell you some of these men, it's very interesting stories. Okay. Some of these men are on death row and women are meeting them in prison and sticking by them. Like, so this is what I'm saying. Like,
visits?
No, a lot of them don't. Like, some of them, because in federal prison, you don't get conjugal visits. So a lot of them don't. But they be literally, there was one girl, and I be getting into it. I be looking up their names because she was saying, like, he's on death row. I be looking up to see, like, you know, punching their name in, like, damn, what? How? Because I can't believe that women are actually with men like this. And
first of all, I would say, how do these women look? That's what I was saying.
No, they are pretty. A lot of them are pretty. Getting tattoos of them on them. I'm telling you, if you in this, it's amazing what a lot of women will go for. And these women are good looking, a lot of them in that group. They put up pictures and they'll be like, how does this look? And they give each other advice about like, should I cover up a little bit more? Because I guess the guards will rip up the picture. So they try to figure out ways how to show they poom poom and do other ways like trickery. So they be exchanged. So you see like full bodies and everything. They're beautiful. That's what I'm saying. A lot of women out here, there's not a lot of men around to go around. So a lot of these women are dealing with people like Tyrone doing 7-8 years ain't nothing. Women are dealing with men that are doing double life. Okay.
There's a lot of sick individuals out there. That's all I gotta say.
Daddy issues.
I mean, that's me, but again, they probably need therapy. Oh, then Fatum mentioned that she investigated or had some investigator look up what's her name, Drew, which I thought was kind of shady. Like, really, you really have nothing to do with your life, or you really trying to get a spot? Because why would you even have someone investigate Drew?
No, if you got a little beef with somebody, I've done it. You get a little beef with somebody, you got a whole, listen, I'm like.
They didn't even have beef. You said something about the girl's husband.
Yeah, but listen, next time Drew's not letting that go. Drew's not letting that go. So if I have access, like, I'm not gonna lie, I will punch in a name or two just to see. Oh, let me verify what she's talking about, or she lying. Like, I might get a little inkling, or if I have beef with somebody, or even if I've dated a guy, like, I'm punching in names. Yeah.
Why? Because I don't even feel like they even had beef.
She called her man like gay. Like, come on,
but it was her doing. That was the whole thing. That to me, I was like,
yeah, but Drew was telling her to shut up. Listen, you have to be proactive when you feel like somebody is on the defense, because you don't know where they coming at next. They might try to stab me in the back tomorrow because I said what I said about their husband, and they may not be able to deal with it. It might be brewing up and it might turn into something. So if I'm at a computer, I'm looking up, punching in names, I might be doing something else. Oh, let me see what Drew's about. I'm going tomorrow to go meet them for lunch. Let me see, because she acting like she all that, and I might got to be prepared to kind of let her know what time it is. So I might punch in a name and see what she's all about, because she might get out of place tomorrow. So you got to be prepared.
She just wants to make a scene and hopefully get a spot and get a peach next season.
I think so,
I don't see what the hell she's going to be doing that about. Drew. If anything, Drew should be looking her up, because she was the one that brought it up. About
no, she didn't need to. Listen, Fatum shut it down when she insinuated that her husband is gay. You can't really come back from that. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So Drew really doesn't have a comeback, but I do think, like you said, like maybe Fatum is trying to get a peach or trying to become a friend of the show, whatever she's trying to get a check. Because
Drew should be looking her up. So when you see her next time, like, bitch, you talked about my husband. Let me tell you what I found out about you. You already talked to my husband. Now you're gonna look up And then
But if you're really good, if you're really good, you got to be prepared. Maybe Drew thinks she all that. She talk about her husband. He's so great. She want to have this like whole like American dream like thing going on.
No, it's not.
Well, she practically once Fatum said that. I don't know where Drew, what angle she coming at next time. I will be prepared. I would be prepared. I'm punching in her name.
Okay, they had multiple aliases. It was stupid. Like
that's what I'm saying.
If I went in to investigate or even paid someone to investigate about someone, and I found out they had a bunch of aliases, I would have just kept my mouth shut because it was stupid. It wasn't even anything good. You could be like, "Oh, you found something."
That's what I'm saying. The tea was like was dry.
Like, I was like, okay, then you wasted your money or you wasted somebody's time where they said it's probably something she Googled, but it was stupid. So I would not even have mentioned it to anyone. So
that's what I'm saying. That's where she messed up. If you're gonna Google something, I would want to see like D's, like how with when they used to say like Chateau Sheree, it was like Chateau Dorothy or whatever her mom's name was because it wasn't her mom's name. Like that's some real tea. With her, with the aliases, I see that all the time when I punch in names. Okay,
yeah, that's black.
I'm not gonna divulge that. That's nothing of importance. Like we all, you know how many times names have been misspelled, like and stuff. Like that's not a big deal. Like I'm sure if you look up my name, there's a lot of variations of my name. That's not a big deal. That was nothing. That's where she flopped. Like, come on, you got to come better than that girl.
Drew was an actress, so she probably had different names for whatever reason. So it's stupid. So that was like, you wasted time. You try to be part of the circle.
That wasn't juicy.
It was not juicy at all.
Yeah, she messed up.
So the next thing was Drew and her mother at the nail salon. That was cute, like her and her mom getting it.
Yeah, I thought that was nice.
That was nice. So thing that I found kind of weird is she was like, "Oh, Ralph is writing a book and I didn't even know about it." I'm like, how the hell you don't know your husband's writing a book?
That marriage is weird.
The mother didn't really touch base on that. Then they discussed about her husband adopting her son.
He doesn't want to adopt her son.
Well, they didn't say he doesn't, but they're like, why is he taking so long to actually do it? And he said, "Oh, it's a man thing." I mean,
no, to me, he's hesitating. To me, he's not going to do it because she mentioned that he wants to respect the father.
Yes. I feel like he should adopt Josiah.
Yeah, because I thought that was going to happen when you changed the name.
I did too.
Pittman. I thought that was going to happen.
I don't know why Ralph isn't adopting Josiah. I mean, I hear him when he says it's a man thing to like respect Josiah's biological father. And I'm for Josiah's biological father being in his life, but we haven't seen Josiah's dad in forever.
Really, it's not about you guys. Right now, it's about Josiah.
Right.
The biological father.
Which I thought it made, and comment below if I'm wrong, but I could have sworn last season, Drew's son saw his father.
Yeah,
his biological father with Ralph there. They were like in a restaurant. Drew was there, Ralph was there, and her son's biological father was there. Because Drew made a comment saying, "Oh, well, my son hasn't seen his father like in forever or like a very long time."
Well, that's a long. That might have been the last time. That was a long time.
Well, I guess it was last year. I mean, you're right.
I just feel like Ralph is, I thought that was like where they left off the last time. Like he was going to, I remember them mentioning something about adoption before. I don't think this is the first time it came up. So I'm just wondering, like, I don't know. I would want my husband, like, as long as the father gives permission, like, it's not up to you to, like, I mean, it is up to Ralph, of course, if he's going to adopt the kid. But if I would ask the father, the biological father, if it's okay with him and he doesn't feel it's disrespectful. But if he's living with me, the mother, and his other siblings that they have together, and he's like the only child there that does not, that's not Ralph's biological kid, I would adopt that kid. Like, I would feel bad. Like, I know how it is. I have godkids that have that situation, and it's really hurtful when you have like a father that's taking care of the other kids and that have that like biological bond, and the one kid is like there, and like that's the one kid out of the house that has a different father, and that father isn't active. Like, it's hurtful. Like, I would want my kid to have his last name so we can all feel like we're a cohesive family.
But that's what Drew said, that, oh, Ralph, I thought she said that the little boy, does have Ralph's last name. Like they changed his last name.
Oh, maybe he does.
Yeah, I think she said that. And that's why I think the mom was like, well, I thought once he got his last name, he would adopt him or something like that. So it seems like the Ralph, gave the kid his last name or let the kid have his last name, but it's just the adoption part. Yeah. And what I have to say to that, look, it's your kid, you. If he don't want to adopt it, you shouldn't be pressuring. Like if I have a kid,
I don't know. No, I would,
because he has to want to do it. I'm not gonna be like, oh, you need to adopt my kid. You need to adopt my kid. You need to adopt my kid.
That might make me feel a way. That would be the reason why I would pressure, because I would feel like if he doesn't do it, it's something for me to think about. Like when it comes, I don't know what that child is going through in that house. We don't really know. Like, how does that kid feel? Does he need therapy? Is he feeling some kind of way about it? Why does she feel the need? Like, I'm just wondering, how does the son feel? Like, is he feeling like an outcast? Like, and that would make me feel a way. And that's what would make me apply the pressure. So I don't know what the circumstances are behind that. It may not be as simple.
If I'm married to a man who loves my child, and I'm saying, or I would want him to say, I want to adopt your kid, I might feel kind of weird saying it. But if I have to pressure you to adopt my kid, I might have to reevaluate our marriage, because that's something like, you don't want to adopt my kid. Why? Why not? What does his wife to do with it? He's a deadbeat. So I may mention like, have you ever thought of adopting like Timmy? And if he's like, not really, like I shouldn't be pressuring you to adopt my baby. You should love my child. Like I would not be.
And that's how,
problems in the marriage.
That's how I would feel too. Like I would feel like, okay, I think the pressure would come from me not wanting to end my marriage. Marriage is supposed to be for life. So that would be the part where I would feel like the pressure would need to be applied, because I would not want to get a divorce. But then it's like you're stuck in between a rock and a hard place. You have to make that decision if he's not going with the program of me wanting of us being a cohesive family. So it is something like that. I think is deeper than what they're showing on TV.
I agree. And then Drew and her mom spoke about some woman had left Drew's mother. I get it was a prophet. I don't know what type of person or pastor. Left Drew's mom a voicemail.
Sure. And one of the women that are on her team is Prophet June. And I did ask that I get advice from her. I want to play this for you. Okay, here.
Oh my God.
But listen to that.
It's saying something about me?
Yes, it does.
So the Lord said he wants you to pray a prayer of protection, specifically over you and Drew while you're in Atlanta. And there is an adversary. Feels like it's a woman, but I'm not sure. Because when you see stuff in the spirit realm, it can look like a woman and it could just be a man that has the spirit of a woman. Just be very aware of people that are damaging.
Babe, that's crazy.
What did you think of that voicemail?
I thought it was interesting, and maybe it's just the way, our minds think differently. If I would have gotten a message like that and I was somebody like Drew married to Ralph, where he has like these little weird behaviors that's unexplained, to me, it was funny how Drew automatically thought it was one of the housewives. Like, who's the woman? Who's the woman? To me, I would have thought it was a mistress. I would have automatically thought it's a mistress. Like, she's warning me about another woman. So it didn't even come into Drew's mind. Like, these women are so delusional. Like me, I'd be on it. Like, what? Another woman? I wouldn't be thinking about them friends.
And the woman said, pray for protection and be aware of people that are damaging.
See? They're damaging her marriage.
Like, about another woman either. When she said it, I guess...
Maybe like I said, it could be the way that I'm wired. Because let me tell you, any little thing that's off base, I'm on it to find out where's this coming from. I need answers. Like that wouldn't sit well with me. I would be thinking about all type of different variables. Like, okay, it could be the friend, but instantly I would have thought of a mistress. And after the mistress, I would have still thought about friends, who else? That would have came into play probably. But the first thing I would have looked into is, are you trying to clue me in to another woman? Because Ralph has suspect behavior.
Very good.
With the secretary, the assistant, that just happened. Like, and she's thinking about the housewives, and he just literally had an assistant who's giving him back massages and stuff like that, who we didn't want to fire. I thought it was weird, and the frame of mind and their thinking is weird.
Good one. I didn't think that I also thought Housewives. I didn't think Mistress. And I guess I thought Housewives because that's what they're showing, really. She's not even showing him potentially even cheating. And I from the what I saw on social media, I knew she was gonna have like an argument or disagreement, confrontation with that Fatum woman. So I think that's why I automatically went to the Housewives too, because they kind of talked about Ralph maybe cheating and kind of left it alone. She never talked about it, so I think that's why I didn't go straight to maybe it was a side chick. And then Drew and her mother talked about Sanya and how she felt like Sanya tried her because Ralph said Sanya mentioned, that they don't have time, like they have a lot of time.
Yeah, he was dead. Sanya was wrong.
She was throwing shade.
Yeah,
but it was kind of like, to me, it was like she threw shade, but then Ralph went and told what's her name, Drew.
Yeah, and that's what I would want my husband to do. Tell me about it so I can check a bitch. Tell me about it. Let me handle it.
He did the right thing, but Ralph, I guess he didn't say anything to Sanya. I think when she said it, what did she say?
Did not mean any shade when I talked to Ralph.
Y'all act like y'all busy.
And he was like, what? And she, he didn't really say anything to her, but I know obviously he said it to Drew and she felt type of way about it, which later on she did confront Sanya about it.
Yeah.
I don't like Sanya.
I do not like her. I think she's trying too hard. I don't like people sucking ass. I think she's doing a lot to keep a peach and to make her name, like, to try to get a check. I don't like her. I think she's I think she got phony ways about her.
I think the way she's too much to be liked.
Yeah, and the way that she's doing Drew, I just think it's so like, I don't like bullies and people who will toss other people aside in order to suck ass from someone else. Like, I don't like somebody who will
bullying Drew. I don't think she's bullying.
I think she's picking on her. That's a form of bullying when you picking on somebody who you think is the weakest, who you assume, and you taking advantage of that. And I think that's what bullies do. They take advantage of people they know they can maybe be, somebody who could be weaker, who's somebody who has like insecurities. Like, I feel like she knows she cannot step to Marlo, Kenya, Kandi. She cannot step to them. So who is she going to pick on? Her own friend who brought, she knows Drew better than she knows anyone else. So for you to pick the person that you know the most out of the group and you pick on them, I don't respect that. Like, I just think she's doing it for clout. She is a clout chaser.
I don't think she's a bully to Drew because I felt like Drew's able to stand up to Sanya. I think she's really able to go toe to toe. I haven't seen Drew back down to Sanya.
I don't think she's backing down, but I still think that's a still form of bullying. Like, just like with like David and Goliath or whatever, like you bully them, but then it's like, the wimp might turn on you. Drew is nice. She does not go as hard as the rest of them. So I just feel like Sanya is taking advantage of that, like bullies do. They will see little weaknesses and try to carve out a little space in there for them to kind of like pounce. And I think that's what Sanya's doing.
Yeah, because Drew is still is trying to make friends with Sanya even after all that. I would have been like, I'm not talking to her. Like, after all that, Drew's still like, oh, okay, like hugging out and trying to be nice to her.
Some of these women just don't have the backbone, like, to go at it. Like, Drew is too nice, and people take advantage of nice people. It's been done to me until I have to shut a bitch down. So it happens to me where people think that she's so nice, but Drew is just not. She's gaining some steam. But see, with me, I always say, I smile a lot. Like, it could come off as like a weakness, and I'm like, the easy target. Until I easily gain esteem and I snap back. Like, I'm not gonna wait to pick up steam and gain some momentum. Nah, I'm coming in like a bat out of hell. And that's what these women need to do. I feel like that's why they're getting picked on.
Well, I never had that issue. No one ever thought I was nice. So
really? I think a lot of people can think I'm nice and like, cause I joke around a lot. Like I'm a jokester and stuff like that. So people take that as, oh, she's a clown. Like she don't, she's a fun time. Like, and it's like kind of like Drew. And then I gotta shut a bitch down.
Oh my God. So the next one was Marlo, Sheree, and Sanya. Keep forgetting. They all went to shopping for Marlo's house.
Yeah.
So the one thing that was questionable, which I saw also a video with Kandi talk about, was how much Sheree's house cost. Like she was talking about $10,000 chandeliers.
Yeah, you mentioned that the last time. Like everybody asking about where other people's money's coming from. Where is Sheree get? And Kandi said that in her whatever her after show is called.
Speak on it.
Yes, she said the same thing.
Money? Like that, how much is Chateau Sheree's worth? I think her house is big. Well, her house is probably more money than Kandi's.
That's what I'm saying. I think her house is bigger and better than all the other housewives on that show. And it's like,
on a lot. Like hers house is better than some other houses for Beverly Hills.
She got a spa in there. Like, oh my God. Like, it's beautiful. So it's just like, it's unknown. Like, where did she get her money from? That's an interesting, that's a mystery.
Millions and $10,000 per shit. Like, where did she get her money from? No one's questioning that.
Exactly. And that's when you got to take notes in case you come at somebody. I would have took that, especially if I'm on the show, that would have been in my, that would have been written down in my notes just in case she want to come at me.
I'm just hoping that Tyrone didn't show how to scam anybody, because that's crazy. No, that's, I mean, and then no one really says anything. They always question Marlo's, but no one's questioning Sheree.
That's a good point. You said that before.
Well, Sanya said something to Marlo. She, they were talking about Kenya, and Marlo was talking about how she feels about Kenya. And Sanya said something like, "Oh, I was hanging out with Kenya the other day, and if you wanna, have a genuine friendship with her, you basically have to stop hitting below the belt." And I agreed with that statement.
Yeah,
because Marlo really do hit below the belt. Like, I like Marlo, but she's vicious.
Yeah, and then she's provoking. Like she provoked you for no reason.
That's a bully.
Yeah,
she's the kind of person that you'll lose your temper and punch her in the face. I have to say one thing about Kenya: she has a lot of restraint.
Yeah, she never hit and there's so many things that she could have said to Marlo about her upbringing and being brought up in foster care, and Kenya never went that low.
I think next episode or the future episode, she is gonna go low. She's gonna say something about the boys.
But I don't think that was low. I guess so. But I think she was really saying it out of like, bitch, shut up. You just threw those boys away. Like, I don't think the way Marlo said it to her about her mother, like not wanting her. Like, that was so like left field. Like Marlo comes from like the gutter with her responses. That's like out of left. Like, it's like, where did this come from? You must have like, and then it's not even called for when she says a lot of the things.
And it's not rehearsed. Marlo's like, if you think about it, to me, she's evil. I mean, I like her ways, but because it doesn't seem like what she's saying is rehearsed. Like, oh, I'm waiting to say, or maybe it is, but the way she say the stuff is like, I'm gonna make you hurt. I'm gonna say the meanest thing to you to make you cry. Like, she's one of those types of people. She was a bully. Like, to say that to Kenya, that your mother didn't want you, but nobody wanted Marlo either. She was an orphan.
Yeah, like, how do you say that to somebody when you were brought up in foster care? Yeah, when you were brought up in foster care, like you would think she was brought up with like a silver spoon in her mouth. But to say something like that when you were in foster care, and I actually was brought up by my grandmother or a family member. So it's just, I don't know. I just think it goes back to like the saying, like, hurt people. And I just seem like Marlo is a hurt, damaged soul. Like, she just seems like she needs intense therapy to figure out why is she probably has a lot of like pent up like aggression, like, you hurt. Like, I think it's all like turmoil going on inside of her that she needs to get out, because the way that she's coming at Kenya, and she really
doesn't like Kenya. There's something about Kenya she doesn't like. She just doesn't like Kenya. And she picks on her. It's like that bully that constantly picks on that one person. So she doesn't like Kenya, but I have to say this episode, Kenya conducted herself, very well.
Yes.
I mean, she was drunk, but she didn't punch Marlo in the face.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when Marlo mentions that she kicked her nephews out. And she talked about, like their rooms not being clean. She mentioned about
regular stuff, like I said.
Not cleaning. She kicked the boys out. The boys were at her sister's house. So how do you feel about her kicking the boys out?
Again, I think it's like regular kid stuff. She wasn't prepared. Like, I just think, I don't know, it could have been for a storyline. I don't know why she did it. And based on what Kandi said on her speak on it, it seems like she never got the kids back. Like, the kids are still like, you remember how you were saying with the Instagram thing, like how you still see them on Instagram? Kandi mentioned that in her speak on it. She said that, she takes pictures with them, but she's still not with them. She goes to visit them at the sister's house and they take pictures. They'll spend holidays together, but they're not physically together in the same home anymore. She said, and Kandi disagrees with that also. Like, how do you do kids like that when you grew up like that? Like, you took on that parental role. And it's almost like she wasn't serious about it, which is unfortunate. Because it just seemed like those kids, like, they going through another, like, life, bad cards being dealt to them. Like, and it's unfortunate.
So this is how I see it. And again, talking from a mom's point of view of two boys, I didn't initially see, and I still don't see it. It's how it's done, her kicking the boys out. Mm-hmm. One, they're her nephews. Yeah, she feels sorry. If these kids were, Marlo seems like she was doing a lot for these kids. Mm-hmm. Financially, she did a lot. They were wearing expensive clothes just like Marlo. She was taking them on trips. If these kids, you're doing all you can for them and they're rude, they're disrespectful, they're showing they're not appreciative, they don't listen to you, they don't help you with chores, they have no type of discipline, I don't see anything wrong with you. Like, look, you need a wake-up call, like, at least temporarily. Kind of like, look, life is too good for you here, and kind of give them a fourth warning. Like, look, I'm doing all this stuff for you, but you guys don't listen. You're rude. You're disrespectful. I got to tell you to clean your room multiple times, whatever. You guys need to leave, and kind of let them get a wake-up call. Like, let me take all of the stuff that you have that I've been giving you, go over there and live with my sister, get it together, and maybe you'll come back. I didn't think anything was wrong with her doing that. Now, if she said, get the F out of here, yelled at them, whatever, I don't know in what fashion, and I also don't know what the kids were doing. She also has to think about her health. And I'm talking about, I have my kids, and sometimes, like, Lord, go to their father's house, I can't take it no more. Mm-hmm. So you have those moments as a parent, and she was saying a lot of stuff to Kandi later on in the episode what she's going through, being sad, depressed, and losing herself. If these kids are draining her, she might have to come to a point, who comes first, these kids or my sanity and myself? And maybe she chose herself.
That's true.
What it was going to entail.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think she wasn't, I'm just wondering what was her intentions, what was her thinking in taking on that responsibility? Did she think every day was going to be roses and, like, sunny days? No, that's what I'm saying. Did she have this delusional thinking that it was going to be like,
maybe,
paradise?
Maybe.
And that's unfortunate that she's thinking like a child or something, like, like a baby doll or something. Like, the things that she mentioned that these kids are doing are regular kid things. Like,
but
okay,
that's what she's mentioned. We don't know. She said one that punched a wall.
Okay, so
that's a violent act. But
I didn't hear her speaking about, like, I don't know how that punch. There's things in that happened when I was, you playing with a ball. Did he really punch the wall, or was it a ball or something that hit the wall? Like, I just don't know, because it just didn't seem like she came up with circumstances behind that. Did she talk about his anger? Did he curse her out? Did he come in her room with a knife?
But like, I didn't hear anything. From what I gathered from seeing Marlo, I think she's fed up with them. And it's two. Let's not forget it's two boys. She's fed up. We don't know what they're doing at the house. And maybe she doesn't want to
reveal. They ain't doing shit. They ain't doing nothing.
You don't live with them. She doesn't want to reveal everything.
No, because the stuff that she mentioned, you would mention the way she mentioned it, it was almost like that was the camel. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. She mentioned
clothes and stuff like
the
that.
whole. Yes, he did. I've done that as a kid. When I take out laundry, I come back, the clothes ain't really fully, dry. Like I've done all of that stuff. I remember my brother playing basketball in the house, and doing kind of. I was skating around the house. Like there was just so much stuff. Like this is right, but we were good. Me and my brother were good kids. My mother, like she had a hard time.
Know what she's dealing with, and if these kids,
she mentioned it.
If
we know.
If Marlo is trying to discipline these kids, they're doing the same thing for months on end. Why not? And again, you gotta realize Marlo's not their mother.
But she took on the role, like you took that on and you uprooted these kids. You should have just left them in foster care, or whatever, so they can handle it. You don't take them out of foster care.
Handle it. She probably thought she could, and when it got too much,
I think it's messed up.
Can't take it.
I think it's messed up, and I think the stuff that she mentioned were the extreme things that she mentioned. That the laundry, they talking back, they're not cleaning rooms. Like, are you serious? Like, she should have at least. That's what I'm saying. To me, those were the extreme things that she mentioned. She would have mentioned, listen, at night they came in a room with a knife, saying they're gonna kill me.
She can't mention that. They're young boys. Maybe she don't want to mention others. I mean, she didn't make it seem like it was anything like she was scared for her life.
Marlo is not going to cover that up. She kicked them out. She would have gave a legitimate reason, or else she would have said. She gave examples.
It's simple. Marlo is tired of them damn boys. She felt like she's lost herself. She felt like she's given too much of herself to those boys, and she just probably feels like, I don't want to do it anymore.
I think she got her peach now. She got money, and she's like, sayonara.
Well, no, I think she used them too for a storyline.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing with that is I think she should have maybe got some counseling.
Yeah. What's with the counseling? I just think it was terrible the way she did, the way she's doing those boys. Because then I just think the examples that she gave were regular kid stuff, and like laundry, dirty room. Like I just think it's unfortunate that and I think she used them for a check. Now she's getting money. She want to go out. She got the late archive or whatever. I think she wants to do her because she probably never had this money that she's making on her own. This is the first time she's probably making her own legitimate money.
Well, the boys are old enough. They're not babies where she can't leave them in the house alone. But I think what she should have done is when she first had them move in is get counseling for all of them. Family counseling.
Yeah.
They could have had all three individual counseling and family counseling, but it seems like none of them in the house is getting counseling because she said it to the boys. He's like, I don't need counseling. Then she said it to Kenny. Well, I think I should have gotten counseling, or I needed counseling. So no one's getting counseling. She's fed up. She's tired of nagging, complaining, cleaning after them. She wasn't prepared for this type of life. She doesn't want this type of life. And you got to remember, she's not their mother. Mothers, we had that instinct that is your child. This is the child you birthed. She's probably like, these are just my nephews. I can't take it. Goodbye. And again, they're in her sister's house. And maybe she feels her sister could probably do a better job raising.
Her sister has 4 other kids. These are 6 kids she has now. And she has toddlers.
Be a better mother than she thinks she'll be. We'll wait and see, but I thought she actually took them back, but
not from what Kandi said.
Because on this episode, she said she only sent them away for like 30 days for a month, which is
I think that 30 days has been extended.
Wow, but that's kind of sad.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's sad, like that I just think it's gonna create more life issues for them, and like little.
They're gonna dislike her too because she gave them this luxurious life. Now you take it away from them. That sister has 6 kids. What kind of houses is she living in?
Yeah, I would have some resentment.
Kids too. I mean, I don't know the full story. I'm going by what she said, but I didn't hear anything major to kick them out. But they're old enough to follow the rules. They're old enough to listen to her. They're old enough to have some sort of discipline. If you're telling these kids every day, clean your room, do this, do that, after a while you get fed up.
Yeah, but sometimes it just takes repetition. Did she give them that? Was it repeat? Like, was it over and over? And this is what I'm saying. It just seemed like she gave up too quick for me. Like, where it wasn't like...
She had them for a while now. Marlo had them kids for a while.
Yeah, but it seemed like, they were good up until they weren't good anymore. Like, so who knows? Like, they adolescents now, they going, they in their teens, going into adulthood. That's probably more difficult. Like, they start talking back. But I just think these are things that you just got to roll with the punches. And I just don't think I just think it's unfortunate that, to me, it just seemed too trivial that she gave up on them. And I would have resentment. I think they would have resentment later on in life.
They probably do have resentment towards her.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't really judge her on that because I don't know what them boys was doing. That's all they were doing, and she couldn't control them.
That's all they were doing. She would have brought it up.
Maybe it's best she gives them away because maybe she doesn't know how to talk to them, mentor them, guide them. Maybe she doesn't know. Again, these kids were dropped on her. Like, maybe she don't have males around to talk to them. So maybe it is best they're not living with her. Maybe she feels like, look, I can't give these kids what they need. I can't. Maybe it's not so much of a selfish move. Maybe it is selfless where she's like, I don't think I'm going to be doing a good job raising these kids. I can't. Maybe.
I don't think so. I think it's selfish.
We'll wait and see, but I thought they had moved back.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're up to Sheree's sleepover. I thought it was fun. I was like, oh, that was like fun to watch. Like all these women, Kenya getting drunk, and everybody in their pajamas. It looked like something like, wow, I would like to go to an event like that.
I know. It looked like they all have the same like color coordination going on. Like I like how Atlanta always do it up, even for reunions. They stay with the whole like style and just like fashion. Like I loved it.
It looked fun up until the two nude models. I was like, nah, I would not. They were too close, like nude models walking around, penis and booty all over the place. No, I would not. I think that would have turned me off. Like I was like, oh my God.
It's kind of like the Bolo situation, though. I think this was actually more interactive, where they was actually go home with a piece of artwork. They were drawing it. I thought that was cool. I thought it was cool.
Yes. I would rather have been there.
No, Bolo was more of what I wouldn't want to do.
No, but somebody made a comment like, oh, I see he's not a Bolo.
Yeah.
But Bolo, he was a stripper.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not into the stripper. I don't want somebody gyrating on me and stuff like that.
But at least you get to see a performance. But I wouldn't want two naked people just walking around and I had to draw.
But they were painting them. I like that because that's art. Like I would do that. I would like the whole idea. I'd rather that than a man gyrating, busting nuts and stuff. And like I don't want to see that. I don't want that. Like,
I would have preferred, and this is my opinion, if it was just a male model. But to me, it was like the male model, the woman model. They were touching each other. I was like, what the hell is going on here? To me, I would prefer just to see the male model because I know they have those type of things. Male models nude and you paint their bodies, you paint the penis. But to have the male and the woman there and he's all touching her and stuff like that, and I'm just like, to me that was too much. Like soft porn right in front of me, and I got to draw it. Like it was that part was too much. Which kind of reminded me like it was a Kandi event, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
I was surprised Sheree did that.
Yeah.
So that was what happened. Then what did Lisa Wu walk here? Oh, then Fatum mentioned Coochie incense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at first when she mentioned it, I was like, oh, okay. But later on when they were doing it, I was like, what the heck?
I'm about to be an African queen, bitch.
Yes, put it on.
Coochie has hair. So this is Coochie incense. The smoke sticks to the hair.
So this is Coochie incense.
She wants to burn your coochie.
If Fatum thinks that this coochie cleanse is gonna work, then I'ma try it. I feel it though, it's getting heated. I don't know if it's the alcohol or the incense, but I do feel a tingle.
But I didn't think anything was wrong.
I wouldn't have thought nothing. To me, I would have more so been doing it out of fun, more so than a seance or whatever they was trying to make it seem like. To me, I would have put on some music and then I would have been gyrating on the incense. I would have did it out of fun. Yeah, I wouldn't have been thinking like Drew, like, oh, this is ungodly. This is the devil. Like, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about having fun. I would be doing all kind of whining on that incense. Like I would have been sweeping the floor.
Kenya was doing. Kenya was dancing, and Sheree had a good time. I didn't think anything was wrong with it. I thought that was one of the funniest scenes that for this
too.
episode. I thought it was funny. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was anything like Drew's acting all
And then, of course, Marlo had to make, because, I don't know if you saw the after show. Marlo said there was a stench in the room. Marlo always got to put a rain on the parade.
Did she say something too, like, what man would want a beautiful woman with
their coochie smelling like incense?
Yeah, incense Kmart. Something she made to that extent.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I thought that was fun. Oh, but then Fatum mentioned that she ran, when they were on the table. I don't know if Lisa Wu came in yet. Did Lisa Wu come in at that point? Not yet. I think this is when Fatum mentioned to the ladies that she kind of like ran a background check. She didn't mention to Drew yet. Drew didn't come yet. And they were making fun because Ralph had like, what was it, a woman's name? So they said he had a
Sanya was, when Drew and Sanya started going at it again.
No, I'm talking about Fatum and telling the lady she did the background check. And they were making fun of the fact that she was telling them Ralph has a female alias.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you was talking about, because you remember Sanya was like, "Oh, I get y'all mixed up. Y'all both got weird names and stuff." I thought that's what That's why.
That came on later.
Yeah, that's why I thought you was talking about the names. But yes, okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but it was funny because Kandi said Ralph is like Tommy from Martin. I was in tears. She seemed to have money, but no job in sight.
Yeah, she said that on her after show too. Like, people that say that they're consultants, like that's kind of like a code word for I don't got a job. Because that's what he does. He's an IT consultant.
That's a job, isn't it?
Well, a consultant is kind of like an IT consultant. Like, they're like a contractor. Like,
you don't have steady work.
Yeah, you're working off the books and you're like contracting with different firms and corporations and you helping each one of them. But what happens if you don't have a gig and you're in between jobs? Like, people say that and they don't even have a job. Like, that might have been what they did, months or years ago as a consultant. And that's what they just using that position forever.
Yeah, but Drew had mentioned that he has like a really good job. I mean, hey, he probably can. They got a house. They're on
Drew
TV.
Lies, though.
She do lie, but that's what Kandi said. Kandi knows more than we do.
Yeah.
Finances. She look like she'll do some background check and find out he doesn't have much going on. But hey, it was so funny because when Marlo walked in, Kenya said, "Oh, here goes Sasquatch in a lace front." I was dying.
Yes. Yes.
And this is where Kenya started getting tipsy.
And
Lisa Wu came. What the hell happened to her face? Like, I don't know if all the Botox and fillers. She looks so different.
I gotta look. I didn't notice that she looked different.
No, that face looks swollen.
Really, I gotta go back to it. I'm gonna put a clip in of it.
The old picture. She was such a pretty woman. She was very pretty. She looks like she's aged with bad Botox or fillers. Something is off of her face.
I gotta take a look at it. I didn't really look at her like that. Okay.
I mean, that was the first thing I was like, that's Lisa Wu, because when they showed you back, like future, like the past episodes, you're like, oh my God, and you could see the difference. I mean, of course she's aged, but it looks like she did work on her face. Her makeup, like her face, makeup, it was like she scared me. Her face kind of scared me. But I don't know why she was there. She was trying to have a moment, but she came in.
She probably get a front roll again or something. Like, I don't know that. I feel like all these people that get fired, they should always seem to be readily available to be a friend or be on a show again. Like, they be walking across the screen. It's like, wait a minute. I can't imagine my boss firing me and then telling me to come back as like, I don't know, as like some kind of, demotion. Like, I don't know. It's so weird to me how they come back, like kind of like hoping and begging for a job. But the money's there to check. I can't hate.
But you think they gave her a check for that little scene?
I don't know if they gave her a check, but I do think it's promising. Like, I think they have hope that it'll turn into like with Sheree. Like, I think she was let go or whatever earlier. And then she came back slowly but surely. So I think in a lot of that happens to a few housewives. I think on the other housewives, on Orange County, Tamara's supposed to be coming back. Vicky's supposed to be coming back. Like, a lot of them.
All of them is coming back?
That's what the rumor is that they coming back. and because that they do need a shakeup on Orange County. So
Yeah,
it seems like a lot of housewives. Look at Phaedra. She's was kind of like I think they might be considering bringing her back. She was fired and now she's in Dubai.
for like one. Yeah, I could see them bring Lisa Wu, and I think she acted, well, she was tipsy too, but after that went to give a moment. So when they do bring these OGs back, you have to make a scene to kind of let it air. Like, you can't just be there and not do something.
Yeah.
So, and I guess she's still friends with Sheree. So she excuse me, carried on because they were doing like some game, and she was carrying on, and here goes Sanya jumping. I mean, so I don't think at that point, I don't think Sanya was wrong.
Yeah, I don't think so either, because it just seemed like, I just think they're like, I hate when people are rude. Like, sometimes we do end up talking at the same time or whatever the case may be, but you don't got to be telling anybody, shut up, I'm talking. Like, I don't know. I just think it's too, like, disrespectful.
Yeah, and she was drunk and just carrying on. I would have said something like, all right, can somebody else talk too? Like, no one would see you talk the whole night.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one thing that happened there. Then, Drew and telling Sanya about what Ralph told her. She's like, oh, I find it kind of like shady that the fact that you said that y'all act like y'all busy. I mean, the one thing I do like about Drew, and I'm still trying to figure out if I like her or not, is that she does confront people when she hear them talk about her saying something. She don't try to like act like or be fake. It's like, oh, you said this about, because Ralph could have said that to her. She didn't mention it to Sanya.
Yeah.
So I like that she do confront people when they say something to her.
Yeah.
Well, not to her or about her, behind her back. And
then Sanya got caught up in, like, they were saying on Speak On It, Kandi, like, she got caught up in the editing, lie. Because, the editors on the Housewives will be quick to catch you in a lie and rewind it back to a season or so when you whatever scene that you might have lied about in the new scene, they're gonna rewind it back and bring up a scene. And that's what they did to Sanya. She said she didn't say it. She said to Drew, like, she lied and said, that's not what I said. And she did say that.
That's what she said. I wrote it down
and
too.
They rewinded, they rewound that.
Like y'all busy.
Yes, but she denied it. And then she walked away like they do when they're caught up in a lie. She walked away from Drew.
But when she said, I was like, oh. So she said that. She said she wasn't trying to be shady, but that was trying to be shady.
Yeah.
That was definitely trying to be shady.
Yeah. Again, to Drew, of course. The one and only.
Yeah. And Kenya being drunk was great. Epic. But that was a funny episode. It was nice to see her drunk, like, lose, happy. So it was good. She's a good drunk. There's people that's drunk and they nasty.
Yeah, because that's really what their disposition is. Like, I think, like, I always feel like Kenya has, like, a good soul, like a kind soul. Like, I think she's fun. And she showed it when she was drinking. She didn't act like a bitch or anything like that. Like, now Marlo, and then at that point, you drinking and someone's provoking you, and she still kept her composure, even though Marlo was provoking.
And that's the opportunity. She could have socked it to Marlo and act like, oh, I was drunk. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah. And so she said that.
To promote someone provoke someone while they're drunk that don't like you. It could have went left, but it did it. And then they had
on the after show, Kenya and Sheree was sitting together in the after show. So they kind of like, the producers were asking them questions. Oh, you did? Yeah. And Kenya did say, like, she did it out of respect for Sheree's house. Like, Marlo was spilling drinks when she tried to toast and clean the glasses together. But Kenya still kind of retreated and still kept her composure and did not react. And she kept it very light. And I'm glad, like, she did it. They didn't go nowhere from there. So I'm glad about that, too.
Yeah, because when Kenya's like, I'm the moment.
I am the moment.
Yes, I love that. I got
that. Well, Mark didn't think you're the moment. Your baby daddy didn't think you're the moment.
Not to Mark, not to your baby daddy.
No. You hear the woman in the back like, Marlo, no, don't say. That was terrible. But again, Kenya did not react. And I think every time Kenya doesn't react, he pisses Marlo even more.
Yeah.
And it makes her go even deeper in the dirt to get to Kenya.
And why somebody else mentioned that, like, why does she keep bringing up Mark out of all things? Like, it's like, I guess maybe she thinks that's the most hurtful thing to Kenya. But it's like she's obsessed with Mark. Like she has a kid now. That was her dream. I think it was her dream though to have the American dream with the whole family and the kid. So I think that's like Marlo's really trying to hurt her.
Yeah, Marlo's saying it because she knows Kenya still heard about that.
Yeah, she's trying to cut her deep.
So yeah, so that using Mark is the best thing to get to Kenya, and she's still hurting about that. She's still dealing with Mark. She's still trying to deal with co-parenting, being a single mom. So whenever she does it, she knows it's a trigger for Kenya, and Kenya's going to react. So it's really, really, good. Like if you want to get at Kenya, that's who you would use at this point.
She's like. I mean, not to judge felons, but isn't she like an ex-felon? Like, when you around felons, brought up in jail, and I don't know, she just got that mentality, like that she just be ready to thump at any given moment. So I would ignore her too.
But when I look at the dynamics of their so-called friendship and the back and forth, this is, I call it karma for Kenya, because Kenya was doing the same thing to Portia. Seasons back, provoking to the point where she got her ass dragged on national television. Kenya was doing the same thing to Portia.
But I think that was like, I think that she's recognized, like they overcame that, and she's recognized that she was wrong. I think she played, she felt that Portia was wrong too for putting her hands on her. She shouldn't have did that. But you're right, Kenya did provoke her into getting dragged. But I think Kenya held herself accountable for that. Like, I don't think it went like, oh, okay, I'm not going to take any accountability. I was right. Portia's wrong. Like it's still, they still were able to work together after that. Look at Portia and, Phaedra and Kandi. They still have not been able to look each other in the face and work together. I just think Kenya.
That's also Kandi.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But she never overcame that. And that wasn't even a physical fight. Like, I believe that Kenya held herself accountable. She forgave Portia for laying hands on her because she knows that she's responsible just as well as Portia's responsible. And I think she's grown from that. Like, all of that stuff with Apollo and stuff like that. Like, I think Kenya is apologetic for that. And she's apologized. I think she's held herself accountable. She knows it was wrong. She has a kid now. She has a husband, soon to be ex-husband. Like, I know she's grown a lot since then. So I just don't think this is like karma. I think what Marlo's doing is just vicious and nasty, and Marlo needs intense therapy.
But again, I just feel like she's just getting what she was doing to Portia, but not as bad. Like when she was targeting Portia, I don't remember Kenya being that malicious with her words.
Exactly.
There's no stopping this woman. It's one of those people like, oh my God, what is she gonna say next?
Mm-hmm.
What is gonna come out of her mouth? She's very vicious with her.
Like she just is unrelenting. Like to get up off me. Like every time we here together, like you have to come after me. Like leave me alone. Like I would just go off on her. But
maybe she wants Kenya to hit her so she could be like, oh, she needs to go and press charges against Kenya.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think because Kenya doesn't seem to be provoking like that, like to hit her first. But I do think like the cleaning up the glass, that could have easily turned into like the breaking of the glass. Like, people getting cut up. Like, I just think like Marlo is just
stop. But Kenya was provoking Portia a lot, even when Portia was trying to, like, she's going to counseling, trying to calm down. There was an incident when Portia was getting upset and left the restaurant. Kenya followed her outside of the restaurant. So Kenya's getting what she did to Portia. So deal with it.
Yeah, but I just think it's different with Marlo. Marlo does not apologize. She does not hold herself accountable. She is malicious and just unrelenting with it. And I just believe that Kenya has a heart. Like Kenya
was apologetic after she got dragged.
Okay, it doesn't matter. But she could have pressed charges. Portia could have been up Schitt's Creek with laying hands. Even no matter what she did, Portia, in the eyes of the law, she was wrong. She was wrong. But that's what I'm saying. But Kenya still like forgave her. They both had kids around the same age. They both were kind of like being there for one another, even though it still kind of went south today and they're not as friendly. But I just feel like they were recovering. I just think with Marlo, I just don't even see no recovery from there, no reconciliation at all, because the viciousness that comes out of Marlo's mouth. Like, I know how, like I said, I go low if you go low, but I'm not going that low, like when it's uncalled for, unprovoked. To me, that's like psych issues at this point.
Yeah. Well, maybe Kenya needs to drag Marlo.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen. Kenya's too classy and she's not a fighter like that. Marlo would probably more so drag her. She was, you know, she done time in jail.
Right. Yeah, she ain't gonna fight. So at the end, they basically all seem to have somewhat gone along.
Mm-hmm. Well, Marlo cried to Kandi in the spa room and
that was before
Sheree's house.
We talked about how she felt about kicking the boys out.
Yeah,
happy about Kandi being a friend at that particular moment.
Yeah, she kind of like apologized. That was like a weak ass apology that Marlo gave to Kandi. I guess that was in preparation for when she does see and it's revealed how she was like she slept around. She's the biggest whore in Atlanta. So it just seemed like she was doing some like damage control. Yes. Yeah, and Kandi did question that on her speak on it. She said that she didn't question it. She was just saying that that's even though Marlo has like this hard exterior and like she can be like malicious, like she does have a soft spot for her in certain ways that, you know, with taking care of the boys. But Kandi questioned it too about her taking those boys on like it was for the show and for a check. She said the same. She was saying the same thing. Like she said the way she was crying to her in that moment, but then to Sheree and to Sanya, she was like, I told them to get the fuck out. Like, so she says it like that, but then in the next, on the flip side, you crying to me and it's kind of like you want my sympathy. But then the next moment you acting like you couldn't take it anymore and you kick them out like with no clothes on. Like, so it's just like Kandi questioned it. Like some don't add up. Something's not adding up.
Who's giving her money to keep the boys?
Like the check to get a peach or whatever else, or maybe government checks. But Kandi kind of like it was insinuating that she felt like there was a motive for her keeping those boys. She insinuated that, and she said like it didn't add up the way she was coming to her, crying in the spa at Sheree's house, and then going to them and just so stern. Yeah, I kicked them. I told them to get the F out and all of that. Like she was like, which one is it? You're crying, you're sorry, and then you did all her laundry. Even when she was saying to the boys, like who goes to the laundromat? Like I don't like. Doesn't Marlo have a house? Like y'all going to the laundromat? They came back with the clothes wet. Who goes to
she mentioned they went to the laundromat?
Yeah, next one, I said, you know what? Get all your dirty clothes together. I'm taking you guys to the laundromat.
And that was one of the big issues that she kicked the boys out. And Kandi questioned that too, like laundromat. Yeah, you go to a laundromat in Atlanta, so like you just walking down, like you in New York or something. You walking down the street to like the laundromat,
sitting there, getting all your quarters and taking your little cart. Yeah, that don't sound right.
That's what I'm saying. It just seemed like it just seemed like she's adding on to stuff to make it sound way worse than what it is to kind of like compensate for doing what she did, crying, the crocodile tears. I don't know. I guess we got to see, but it doesn't seem like she's gonna take those boys back.
Oh, you see what I see on Instagram? I thought she had them back.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. And the episode ended with her inviting these women to some trip.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
So I guess the next episode they'll be going on the road trip.
It looks like it's gonna be interesting. It looked like Sanya's husband's gonna turn up on somebody.
Yeah, I don't know who. I think it was.
And he was like, "You don't talk to my wife like that." I was like, "See, I knew it was something about that husband that I was saying I liked."
But with that, I don't know. I have to see it because to me, it depends. Sometimes men don't get involved to women arguing unless it's an attack. But I don't know. I gotta see him jumping in. Like, wow.
We gotta see it, but With me, I'm not going to be offended if my husband speaks up for me. I love it. I love it when you don't have that control when it comes to your love. Like, you don't want to see your wife, your friend. You don't want them hurting. You don't want nobody hurting them. And sometimes it's uncontrollable. I might step in. I might step to a man, and I'm not a man because it's uncontrollable because of the love that you have. And that's what I knew I loved about her husband. He just seemed like a man's man. Like, he got that swag. Ralph would sit right there. If that was Ralph, he would sit right there while somebody cursing his wife out, and has.
But I had to see the scene because it's maybe, and again, Sanya looked like she can't go toe to toe with Marlo or Kenya. So yeah. I have to see if it's something he needed to jump in, or was she really going at Sanya with like, oh, and Sanya didn't have a comeback. Or it was something like really why get involved. I had to see the whole scene to see if he needed to be involved or not. Because if he's jumping into women's business, then he's wearing skirts.
I don't care as long as he's jumping in, I would accept it. My man better have my back. I don't care.
Women arguing like, all right, ladies, all right.
No. Sometimes I might get the wind kicked out of me. Sometimes I might not have enough comeback. That's where my man gonna stand up.
That's why I want to see. Was it something where I'm like, oh, okay, I see why he's
there? I don't care what the circumstance is. I don't even care. I'm all for it. I'm so team, whatever his name is, Sanya's husband.
And that's the thing, because none of them really, and well, I guess if it's Kenya doesn't have a husband to stand up for her.
No one's husband stands up for them. I never seen any of the husbands have that. And that's one thing I'm big on. Like, I need my husband, whoever I'm with, even a friend, I need people to have my back. If you see, like, someone's coming at me and it's unprovoked and it's wrong, stand up or either mediate, do something. Don't just sit there. So I love that her husband stood up and was like, you're not going to talk to my wife like that. I don't care what circumstances it is. He was in the right.
Oh, my God. I just have to see what happened, why he did it.
Okay.
But that lets me know that Sanya was getting dragged verbally. If your husband got to stand up, that means you being dragged verbally. Because if it's the opposite way, your man don't have to say nothing. Like, okay, she got this. He knows Sanya don't got it.
That's true. She don't. But I think she was coming up against Kenya. So This is going to be very interesting.
Like, if I was in a situation, I'm arguing. If it's getting physical, the person I'm with feels like, oh, it's going to get crazy. But if I'm arguing with someone, and I'm going toe to toe with them, and my husband jumps in, I may not be that happy about like, hello, I could handle my own. Like, I don't know. I have to see the situation. Sanya must have been getting dragged and couldn't say nothing, couldn't defend herself, couldn't verbally stand up to Kenya, and that's where he jumped in.
Oh, wow.
Which again shows us weakness from Sanya.
That is weak. Sanya is weak, but I'm all for her husband sticking up for her.
No,
go husband.
That's good. I have to watch the episode and see.
Yes. So that is our recap of Housewives of Atlanta. And stay tuned. Don't forget, once again, as we say, comment down below, subscribe, smash that like button, because we're gaining. And also, we are up to 98 subscribers. Hopefully, by the time we upload our next episode, which is going to be tonight, we're doing another Housewives episode, Beverly Hills. You can watch that. Hopefully, when we put that up, we will get 2 more subscribers plus some to bring us into that hundreds of subscribers. But thank you again for your support, your watch time, your likes is really helping us in the algorithm. So we will see you next time, and stay tuned. Thanks again. Bye.